So, a crisis. Insoluble problem. Major crisis. Both stepmothers want their names on the wedding invitation. Catherine adores her stepmother, who practically brought her up. She wants her name on the invitation. She wants it, and her stepmother is not anticipating, which is understandable, since the mother is dead, not appearing next to Catherine's father. Whereas my stepmother, whom I detest, it's out of question, her name should be on the wedding invitation. But my father won't have his on it if hers isn't. Unless, of course, Catherine's stepmother is left off, which is completely out of the question. I suggested none of the parents' names be on the invitation. I mean, after all, we're not adolescents. We can announce our wedding and invite people ourselves. So Catherine screams her head off, arguing that would be a slap in the face to her parents who've done so much when it isn't even their daughter. And so I finally let myself be persuaded, totally against my better judgment, because she wore me down. Yes, I finally agreed that my stepmother, who I detest, who's a complete bitch, have her name on the wedding invitation. So I telephoned my mother to warn her. Mother, I said, we've done everything we can to avoid this. We've absolutely no choice. Colette's name has to be on the wedding invitation. And she said, well, if Colette's name is on the invitation, then take mine off. Mother, I said, please, I beg you, don't make things any more difficult than they already are. And she says, how dare you suggest that my name is left to float around the invitation on its own, as if I were some abandoned woman below Colette who'll be clamped to your father's name like a limpet. Mother, I said, please, I beg you, I have friends waiting for me. Don't make things any more difficult. Let's talk about this in the morning after a good night's rest. And she says, why is it I'm always an afterthought? Mother, you're not always an afterthought. Of course I'm always an afterthought. And the reason you say don't make things any more difficult is because everything's already been decided. Everything's been organized without me. Everything's been cooked up behind my back. Good old Nadia, she'll agree to anything. And all this she said, and get this, in support of an event, the importance of which I'm having trouble grasping. Mother, I said, please, let's just talk about this in the morning. I have friends waiting for me. And she said, that's right. Anything's more important than I am. Goodbye. And she hung up. Catherine, who's sitting next to me, but who hadn't heard her side of the conversation, said, what did she say? I said, she doesn't want her name on the invitation next to Colette, which is understandable. No. What did she say about the wedding? Nothing. You're lying. I'm not Kathy. I promise you. She just doesn't want her name on the invitation next to Colette. You call her back and tell her that when your son's getting married, you rise above your vanity. Well, you could say the same thing about your stepmother. I'm not talking about that. It's me. It's not her. I'm the one who's just suggesting her name's be not on the invitation. It's not her. If she knew the problem this was causing, she'd be down on her knees begging to have her name taken off the invitation. Now call your mother. So I call my mother back. By now, I'm in shreds. Yvonne, my mother says, up to now, you've conducted your affairs in the most chaotic way imaginable. Now, just because you've decided to embark on matrimony, I now find myself obliged to spend all afternoon and evening with your father, a man who I've not seen in 17 years, and to whom I was not expecting to have to reveal my hip size or my puffy cheeks. Not to mention Paulette, who, let me tell you, according to Felix Perilori, is now taking up bridge. My mother always played bridge. I can understand, Yvonne, that all that is unavoidable. But on the invitation, the one item that everyone is going to receive and examine, I insist on making a solo appearance. Catherine, who's sitting next to me, and is only extension at this time, scrunches up her face and starts shaking her head. And I say, Mother, why are you so selfish? She says, I'm not selfish, Yvonne. I'm not selfish. You're not going to start on me too, are you? You're not going to be like Mademoiselle Romero this morning and tell me that I have a heart of stone, that everyone in our family has a heart of stone. She's gone completely insane, by the way. That's what Mademoiselle Romero told me this morning when I refused to raise her pay to 60 francs an hour cash. She had the gall to tell me that I had a heart of stone, that everyone in our family has a heart of stone, which she knows perfectly well about poor Andre's pacemaker, and you haven't even bothered to drop him a line, by the way, Yvonne. Oh, very funny, Yvonne. That's very funny. You know, you say that I've got a problem, but you've got a lot of problems to deal with too, Yvonne. But you go ahead, Yvonne. Go ahead. Go on and see your precious friends.